Okay, so I'm going to be making some strontium oxalate today. So for making strontium oxalate, I'm going to try to keep it simple because I know all the pyros out here trying to make strontium oxalate aren't all chemists. But you'll need 30 for making I don't remember, it's like 58 grams of strontium oxalate. I'm doing it on a small scale to test it out. And if it works, I'll do it on a larger scale. But for this run, I'm doing 30 grams of oxalic acid dissolved in about 285. I'm just going to do 300 mils of water. That's still a pretty saturated solution because I think 282 or 280 grams of water or mils of water is just enough to dissolve that 30 grams of oxalic acid. There's 30 grams of oxalic acid in there. And then I'm going to dissolve 50 grams of strontium carbonate and about 57 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. That should be about enough to neutralize all the strontium carbonate and turn it into strontium chloride, but while keeping the acidity of the solution down. I don't think I want an excess of hydrochloric acid. I want a little bit excess of hydrochloric acid just to make sure all the strontium carbonate is dissolved, but I do not want a excessive amount left over in the solution when I add it to the oxalic acid. So I'm going to turn on the plate for stirring, and I'm just using bottled water. Should probably use distilled water. And I might have to heat it up just a little bit to get everything to dissolve. Roughly 300 mils of water. Should dissolve that up nicely. I'll add just a little bit of heat to it. But it shouldn't require very much heat to dissolve. So I will get back whenever the oxalic acid is dissolved, and then we'll move on to dissolving the strontium carbonate, or reacting the strontium carbonate, I say dissolving, reacting the strontium carbonate with the hydrochloric acid. The concentration of hydrochloric acid is 37%. It is, about 36%. From Home Science Tools, I just had it laying around from a reaction that required reagent grade HCl. It was making a protactinium generator, and I used that. So I'll get back when it's all dissolved. Okay, so now the oxalic acid looks like it is completely dissolved. I added just a little bit more water, probably about 25 mils more water. Put that over here. There is some sodium carbonate on the table. I was doing this earlier and I knocked over the beaker of oxalic acid. How fun that was. And now I'll throw the strontium carbonate onto here. You're not going to be able to see the stir bar in there running, probably until it's all dissolved. I got a stir bar running in there. I'm going to slowly add the hydrochloric acid into the solution. Forgot I had heat on, so I'm going to add some water to dilute this a little bit. It's turning into a paste. It looks like I'm probably gonna need more more hydrochloric acid. I don't get any more fizzing. I think there's a strontium chloride precipitating out on here. I do think that's strontium chloride. It is definitely more crystalline. And I think it's just because I had it heating up. I didn't mean to have the heat on. I forgot I had the heat on for the oxalic acid. Dissolve it in some water. My assumption is that this is probably more in the 32% range, so it's probably going to require a little bit more hydrochloric acid to get everything to react. I'll probably end up using this rest of this bottle of hydrochloric acid. But we've hit the point where it's not fizzing very much anymore. I think we're all but reacted here. I'll just a few more mils of HCl. We will turn down the stirring a bit. Okay, and now here's the fun part. I got the oxalic acid here stirring. I got the solution of strontium chloride, which is still off color, but it'll be fine. And it should just precipitate out. Yep. It looks like strontium oxalate. Well, it's a white powder because chemistry. So, I'm just going to let it stir. And then we'll let it settle out, filter, wash it, and then we'll dry it and test it in some colored flash. So now I'm just filtering the sodium oxalate. I'm using my magnetic stirrer here on the side to get it all back in solution, or all back in suspension. And using this stupid thing. Don't mind the green on the table if you can see it. Apparently there's some dichromate on the table that reacted with some of the sodium bicarbonate and strontium chloride solution to form some green complex thing that's probably just as turbo cancer as everything else. So this really isn't much to it. Just sitting here squeezing the squeezy handle, filtering it through. That was very red.